Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff. Hey guys, I'm Maureen.
I'm Eve.
I'm Jeanette.
And we are coming at you with our second to last Sweet Magnolias episode. We are going over episodes 7 and 8. We're trying to slow burn the rest of this out. And I think that 9 and 10 are the doozies of this, but 7 and 8 are really nice build up to what's going to come. And I think one thing that we've seen in the show, we've said it over and over and over again, at least I have repeatedly because I'm confused now, but they've changed the characters so much. And I think that we're going to start right off the bat with the characters that have changed the most, and that's Bill and Noreen. I think they're at the top of the change list.
Yes, I actually love Noreen this season. And it's really, really confusing.
Yes.
Because we talked so much last season about how much we disliked her. So now I'm like, wait a minute, we like Noreen now? Is that what's happening?
And Bill too. Like, I feel bad for Bill a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know about to say I love Noreen, but I don't hate Noreen anymore.
Yeah.
I actually like her. I would say like, maybe not love. And same with Bill. I don't like him, but I don't hate him. I feel sorry for him in several instances. So
I don't know if Bill has done the complete 180 that other characters have, like Peggy, who we'll talk about later, or like Noreen, but he is just like that much more likable.
Yeah.
Or maybe
he's
not
a human
likable
now.
yeah,
maybe not likable may not be the word I'm trying to use, but maybe a little bit more like we can see where he's coming from more.
And
like
we see him trying now, which is a different thing. And I think that's why we're more able to feel sorry for him, because when he's trying, he's still getting knocked down.
Yeah, and I did feel a little bad for him when Noreen's parents walked in, essentially were like, you don't belong here. What are you doing here?
That made me mad.
it actually made me mad too.
Father, aren't you thankful that he's stepping up and wants to, give this baby the same as his other children? Like,
yeah. And it's his right to be there.
It is. Yeah, I got, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, like, I felt really sorry for him in that moment because I mean he was just there. He was with his new baby. There was absolutely no reason for him to be kicked out like that.
And they took they reached out to grab the baby, like, excuse you.
Yeah,
That's his. That's not yours. Right. Your grandparents. That's not yours.
Agreed.
Ooh.
I didn't love Noreen's mom. Like, I didn't love her through the whole thing. I liked her a little more by the end of all this, but I thought she was very pushy and I didn't care for her, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
I like her dad.
Yeah, I liked him.
And he seemed really in tune with what Noreen wanted and how she was feeling too.
Yeah, agreed.
I like that scene when they're at Isaac's house and grandma goes to change the baby, and then her dad says, okay, what's up? And she didn't say anything, and he didn't let it go until she told him what was going on. So I like that he was that way. And even when she told him that she wanted to stay, and the mom's like, and you knew this? You didn't talk her out of it?
Yeah. What do you mean talk her out of it? She's an adult. I mean, like,
she's a mother.
Yeah.
And I did like the last name thing too. Was I felt bad for Bill on that too.
Yes.
Because he's not an absent father. He's just a bad husband.
He's a bad husband and a pushed out father.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, he's not been great but I mean, it sounds like he was great. He wasn't so great to Kyle. Poor Kyle but it sounds like he was good to Ty and
Katie.
He always seems good with Katie. So I don't know why he gets the rep of being a horrible father. I don't think that's necessarily the case. He's misguided in a lot of ways, and he's kind of dumb as far as like understanding what these kids need. But I think the love has always been there, and I don't know. I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
See, I wonder if Noreen's parents' judgment, that was a lot of words in one sentence. I wonder if their judgment is just clouded because this is the man who put their daughter in a position to like be the town pariah.
I understand
but then my thing is though that your daughter accepted responsibility for that.
Yeah.
Like, she knows that she's responsible and she's apologized for playing that role. So, you know, you don't need to be the ones to step up and, you know, treat him like, you know, he's a terrible person.
Yeah.
Because he's not. I mean, he's not a truly terrible person. I mean, we'll talk about other truly terrible people later on. But
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I guess he's a human being who is incredibly selfish. I'll say that. But I think in this season, we're seeing him try not to be. We see
Right.
every step, except for the one where he didn't show up to Kyle's court appearance. That was pretty selfish. I think he was feeling
It
pretty.
definitely was. But I also don't think I think it was an instance where he was just dumb
Misguided. Yeah.
and not understanding I think in his mind, he really thought he was doing the right thing by Kyle.
Yeah.
He just didn't understand. Most of what he does, I don't feel like is malicious, other than obviously the having the affair. I mean,
Yeah.
that was clearly, but everything else that he does, I don't think it's like I'm trying to not do right. I think he
Yeah.
just doesn't know.
He's
No,
what,
it's-
mid-40s?
Yeah.
So he
Probably
has
middle-aged.
spent 45 or so years being incredibly selfish, only caring about his own desires and needs,
Mhm.
or others as it suit his needs.
Yes.
So as he's trying to come out of that, I mean, there's got to be a learning curve,
Yeah.
and he is trying. I mean,
Yes.
Ooh.
The last name, I'm like, what do you tell like Rebecca one day when she's older, when she wonders why she doesn't have her dad's last name?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just a weird thing to explain. I think it's not like he did anything.
I don't think I didn't find that it was weird that she wanted to give the baby her last name, but what I did think was weird was that there was no conversation about it.
Mhm.
Like, she didn't even, like, she just came out and said, this is the baby's name. She didn't at least say anything like, okay, here's what's gonna happen. I want Rebecca to have my last name, and that's how it's going to be. But she
Like
just
a hyphenated name or something. I mean,
Yeah.
you could have done
just
something.
came out and said, this is the baby's name, no conversation. And
Yeah,
he was
he
just
didn't
like,
even-
oh, okay.
Like, I mean, if she filled out the birth certificate, that is her right. I mean, like, you know, it is what it is. But I mean, still,
It
Ethically,
sucks though.
yeah.
It's
I mean, it sucks. And it sucks that everybody else was so like, oh, like happy for her that she did that. Like,
Mm.
I don't know when.
I find it
all
odd
does.
how much they hate Bill and love Ronnie.
I agree. And I
I
mean,
mean-
we know I love Ron. I'll tell you why I love Ronnie.
I like him now.
It's his face is what started it. But like, I don't
Yeah, I just
understand
love
their
his face.
logic.
But I mean, they did the same thing. They both cheated.
Yes, Ronnie just happened to not get anybody knocked up. This is
Yeah.
the only difference.
That is exactly it. Because if Bill did not get Noreen pregnant, he would have never left Maddie.
Nope.
It would be the exact same situation. And I think if Ronnie would have gotten someone pregnant, he might have even abandoned that girl, I would wager to say.
You probably would have.
I don't think he would have stayed with her. So I mean, then that leaves the woman the victim. But I mean, it just seems like such a double standard. They hate Bill so much for things that, yeah, he screwed up. He absolutely 100% screwed up. He's trying to make it right, though. He's trying to fix it. The first season, we didn't see a whole lot of that. We saw a lot of, I'm doing right by Noreen. But
yeah, we saw him
see
focusing
this
there.
season, he's actually trying to fix it with his kids.
Mhm.
And the fact that, I mean, the look of hurt on his face when Noreen told him the name, he didn't get to pick his daughter's first, middle, or last name, nothing.
Nothing.
And he left his wife for Noreen when she was pregnant. So what about that tells her he's going to be an absentee father? He
And
left
he
his
was-
entire family to be with you and this new baby.
And he was going to stick it out. It was her that
Yeah,
chose to leave. I think it was the
exactly.
right decision. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that it wasn't, but he wasn't going to leave you. It was destroying his career and everything being with you. And he was doing it. So I feel like I don't know. It bugged me a lot. And here I'm defending Bill, which is really weird, but it bothered me.
He still has a lot to go. He has a
Yeah.
lot of things he has to prove. He's got a lot of things he's got to do to make up for it. And there's no making up to it for Maddie, obviously. But with his kids, he caused a lot of damage there. He's got a lot of work to do, and I will say that. But that doesn't excuse Noreen just taking that away from him. At
I
least
agree.
it should have been a phone call. At the very, very least, that she owed him a phone call before she did that.
Absolutely.
And I feel bad that he had to go out in the hallway, and the moment the grandparents came in, they shoot him out like, okay, you're all done here. Your rights are all over. And he had to go out the hallway, and he still wants to help. He's
Mhm.
still trying to help.
Yeah.
And it's weird too. I get maybe it's a Southern thing. Maybe us Northerners are too cruel, but Maddie like effusing over Noreen, and I don't know if that's because Noreen took responsibility. So I don't
mean,
know
I'm
where
in
it
the
came
South,
from.
but that was too much. Now the baby blanket and things like that, I think that's something maybe I could find a way to do, but I'm not going and spending a whole day at your bed. You're like celebrating your baby. I'm going to bring you a gift because that's probably a Southern thing to do. That's the nice thing to do. But I'm going to drop it off and say, congrats. I'm going to go. Like that's the extent of what's going to happen. We're not having a big party for you.
And it seems like they were all on board with Noreen once they saw that they gave her the Fitzgibbons name instead of Townsend. And all of a sudden, they're like, okay, yeah, Noreen's good. She's good. She did the same dang thing Bill did.
She did.
Same thing.
Yep.
And there was one point where in the notes I wrote, why are there so many gifts? Like she showed up in the hospital, gave her a blanket. Okay. Then threw her whole baby shower. Okay. There's another scene later on where they're packaging up gifts for her. Like, what? Why does this woman suddenly walk on water for you? Like, I like Noreen now. Because her character's different, because she took responsibility and she apologized and she owned up to it.
The only thing I can think of, and they should have said this, like, if Kyle and like Katie wanted to get more gifts for her, then I could understand why Maddie might, go out and shop, because he would just do that or whatever. But like they didn't say that. But I don't know, them all being at the party, it weirded me out. I thought that was strange. I wouldn't have done that. I don't care that she's living with Isaac and I'm friends with Isaac. I just think it's weird. Maybe I'm not Southern enough. I'm not sure, but I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, it's just so interesting that they went from, let's treat her like the town pariah to let's all throw her an impromptu, what wasn't they called, sip and see?
Yes, sip and see.
Like all these, all these like great presents in like 2 seconds. Like, wait a minute, yesterday you didn't like this woman. Like,
it's all because she owned up to it, because Bill's owned up to his mistakes too. I mean, he's done this, and like he's still like,
and
public enemy number one. Like
he's trying to make better too. So
I don't get it.
How come he doesn't get a party?
Right.
And when Noreen apologized, she said to Maddie, no, you can blame Bill all you want, but I did it too. And she told her that. Even she was aware that Maddie was putting it all on Bill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
know. It's weird to me.
So we said we like Noreen and we're kind of digging it in there, but it's because it's just unfair practices.
We like Noreen.
Yeah.
Maddie should not like Noreen.
It's weird.
That's the part that's weird for me. And by default, Helen and Dana Sue should not like her, because that's your best friend. I mean, like everyone else in town can forgive her and be your best friend. I think that's perfectly acceptable. But like they should not. It's strange. That's what I think.
It's just really it's just really awkward. And then the way that was the mom, when she came up to the Sweet Magnolias, she was like, oh, you're the one who sends all like the good food. I forget what phrasing she
said
used.
You're the one who sends all the good food. And she's like, yeah, I am. And then I forget what she said about Helen though.
Yeah, I forget what she said about Helen. Then she looked at Maddie, and that would make you, I was like, oh dear Lord, where is this going?
And then just empty air. Like,
and there's empty air, and then she hugged her. I'm like, what is this? Am I an alien from a different planet? And I just don't understand, because this feels weird.
Because as a mother, I would be real embarrassed too.
Yeah.
Like my daughter just broke up your entire family. Like, I don't know. I'd be avoiding you as much as possible.
Yeah, I'd be like, why are you here? What do you want?
Yeah.
And then when she says, you're alone here, like, I think you just saw that she wasn't, but that I don't know, that was just weird.
Maybe her mom agrees that this is all weird and that she should, I don't know.
Maybe mom is on our side.
Maybe.
And she thinks it's all weird.
I really didn't think Noreen was going to stay in town, guys. I really didn't.
I'm a little surprised. But I mean, why wouldn't you? When people who used to hate you are suddenly bringing you gifts and cooking food for you and loving on you and telling you how great you are.
I was hoping she would, because I'm loving, her and Isaac's friendship.
Yeah, well,
I think that's really sweet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like the advice he gives her. He's just so kind.
I want him to come give me advice.
I love Isaac.
But yeah, he's just been like, he's really been there for her ever since she came back to town, even though he's really going through a lot of his own stuff. And it's really starting to pick up, especially this episode.
Yeah, I mean, I was really, and I don't know, I was really getting on board with their friendship. Now, I do have to ask a question, though. I want y'all to tell me. Did we know that Isaac and Noreen really knew each other last season, or was
No.
this completely out of the blue that they're
Out
gonna,
of the
like,
blue.
get together? Okay.
I was going to ask the same thing because that didn't ring a bell to me. I thought I missed something.
It was
I'm
with
sure he
Eric
saw
that
her.
she had a connection with,
Yeah. Okay.
but only because he helped her those 2 times. It wasn't Isaac.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's a nice new little budding friendship, but it just threw me for a loop. I'm like, oh, okay, you're gonna invite her to move in, and this is interesting.
The only time there was that he was currently looking for roommates and he had ads out, so he was accepting strangers in. And then he had the guy with the pet chickens.
That's true.
And then he's like, okay, well, maybe Noreen, you can come stay with me. It'd be less weird than the other weirdos.
Noreen would be better than pet chickens. I agree.
He does say that to her at one point.
I'd like to meet the guy with the pet chickens, just, for laughs. But
well,
when they're talking on that bench about Noreen stage, she's like, you didn't sign up for this. He's like, it wouldn't be any weirder than anything else. She's like, really, a baby and a mommy? Isaac went 2 words, pet chickens. That was it.
yeah, I don't think I could get on board with that.
No.
But yeah, I mean, it's nice that we're like getting to see also like his relationship with Peggy finally starting to develop. Just because that was, such a strange beginning, of her just walking out on him. So it's nice that they're, starting to start something, and find out too that she gave him his name, correct? She was the one that got to put that. So that was,
she said that was the only decision I got to make.
Yeah. I think that was that's nice. I mean, I still don't know how I feel about Peggy though, but
I mean, we've seen her mom. We meet her mom in this episode. So
that
mom.
One thing I want to say before moving to Peggy and her mom, though, is I like that Isaac is asking Peggy the questions he needs to ask her.
Yeah.
He's bold enough to ask. I mean, that's a hard situation for anybody. And he's asking the question. And I like when they're in the coffee shop and he said, how about my dad? Can I talk to my dad? Can I meet my dad?
Yeah.
And then they decide to focus on each other first.
Those are the questions we're all asking, Isaac.
Yes.
I all want to know about that dad.
We do know about that dad, just not.
Stop asking.
We know about your dad.
We know, but we can't talk about it yet. So,
but I think that seeing Peggy's mom has made a lot of things clear. Because remember how last season we had a lot of questions about why Peggy was the way she was, how she could even be friends with Mary Vaughn the way she was and be so under her thumb. And I mean,
that's all she's known. I mean, yeah.
And her mom, Peggy's the editor-in-chief of the newspaper, but I'm fairly certain it's her mom running it through Peggy.
I believe that.
That's kind of what I was gathering from the way she was speaking to her.
I think it's weird that we get a glimpse even before we hear her mother speak of who she is, because they're sitting in a room where there's a giant portrait of herself above the fireplace.
Weird.
Yeah.
I actually watch a soap opera where the CEO of a company has a big portrait of herself hanging in her office. And I always wonder who wants to walk into a room and see a giant portrait of themselves. Like,
People
I don't
who are incredibly vain and think that only of their own rightness.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, well, she's that kind of person. There we go.
She's one of those people.
She's one of those people. I don't think we're gonna like her.
No.
And I hate that she controlled everything about everything with the baby. And how did she word it? She said, it's bad enough I had to deal with that mistake you brought home 22 years ago. Like, wow.
Like, excuse you.
I can understand, you're still this angry over it 22 years later. Like, aren't you ready to let something go, honey? Like, he's a grown man now. And she's more than a grown woman. I mean, she's a middle-aged woman. Like,
yes.
it's okay.
And clearly you've damaged her because she's still alone.
Yes.
And she even said, her mom even says something to her, oh, you think you would be with him? It's just like,
Who knows?
wow.
That's the thing. Like, who knows how life would have turned out
Mhm.
if you had, I don't know.
Granted, if she would have ended up with Bill, he still would have cheated on her and ruined her life
Well,
too. But
probably.
still, maybe she would have had more kids. Maybe she would have, who knows?
Yeah.
But this mother clearly damaged her. She was devastated by the loss of this child. Enough that she gave him a name and kept a bracelet with his name on it.
Yeah.
So clearly, she even says to her mom that she's been thinking, wondering where he's been this whole time, wondering about him. That's been her life, and it was ripped from her.
You can just tell too from the way that Peggy's reacting to what her mother is saying, just like from her facial expressions, that this isn't new. Like she's always been treated this way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Now I'm feeling bad for Peggy too. Like what is it with this season?
She did seem weirdly shocked when the mom said that she didn't want to meet him. Like, how does this surprise you though?
Right.
She clearly wanted nothing to do with him. And then she said, when she said, I'm going to start a relationship with my son, and she said, you will not. Who are you?
Like, excuse you, your daughter's like what, in her 40s, 50s?
Probably 40s,
40s.
40s. Yeah.
You haven't legally been allowed to tell her what to do for several decades now.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous. And I did like when Peggy stood up to her and she got that knife in and she said, I'm just doing what any good mother would do. And if you see at the end of that scene, when the mom is bringing the teacup to her mouth, it's shaking. So she's nervous about something. Maybe the fact that it's clear from this that the father of the baby had no idea there was a kid involved at all.
No idea.
So
I'd like to meet that other grandma too. I don't know if we ever will. I won't say her name because we're not going to give that away, but I sure would like to know a little more about her.
I'm going to cut this out.
Okay.
How sad that Bill had that baby taken away from him and then this new baby taken away from him.
Yep.
How sad.
And I mean, I want to know too, like if his mother like arranged all of this behind his back, who knows what kind of upbringing he had, and that could have shaped everything that's happened for him. I'd like to know more now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that later.
More to explore.
So I think they're both crappy mothers. This one clearly just wants a puppet. And she even said to her, you just came by on Sunday. What brings this visit by? Like, you have a relationship with your kid that you can only see each other once a week?
So
yeah, it was like, oh, I'm sorry. Is she supposed to call your secretary and schedule an appointment?
I mean, imagine living in the same town as your parent and only seeing them like once a week.
Yes.
I would be at my mom's house every day, I think, if I lived in the same town as her. Like, it's weird.
And the house is just so dark and it's overpowered by this narcissistic, cruel woman. Like she said some cruel things to Peggy. And you have to see her upbringing. And Peggy was almost raised to need that person controlling her. And so it's natural that she levitated to Mary Vaughn, and Mary Vaughn levitated her because levitated. That's not the word I mean to say, right? That's not the word I mean to say.
Levitated?
Levitated is like, I'm floating.
Gravitated.
That's the word I want to say. Gravitated.
Oh, okay.
I don't even have that big of a vocabulary.
Yeah. See, we don't need Amanda to have fun.
Jeanette got one.
Woo.
Jeanette won.
I got it faster than the kindergarten teacher. I'm pretty proud of myself.
Ooh.
I just really had no idea where she was going with levitating. I was like, I got
because I'm in Maureen's brain, but it took me a minute. I'm like, you're right.
True.
That's not the right
That's
brain.
accurate. But it makes sense now. So that's why I don't dislike Peggy as much, is because you see Peggy. I think this is like I think the shaking teacup with the mom means this is the first time Peggy's ever stood up for herself ever. If she's in her 40s and this is the first time ever she's been able to stand up to this woman, I mean, you can kind of see why Peggy's been the way she's been.
Yeah.
It's not even her fault.
Yeah.
I mean, parents can break their kids in really terrible
absolutely.
ways. And I think that's what this woman did. She broke that poor kid, destroyed her. But I like seeing her come out of it. And I think Helen is someone who helped Peggy through that too. And I love that. And we didn't talk about the last episode of VBS when Helen went up to her and said, if you want to talk, I'm here.
Yeah.
But on this one, Peggy thanks Helen. She actually stops and thanks Helen for introducing Helen. My nose is like all stuffed up now, so I'm starting to sound weird. She thanks Helen for introducing her to her son. And I think Helen gets so overwhelmed by that. She actually sits back on the couch and I started to cry a little bit even. But I think for Helen, it's probably because of the journey that she's taking now with motherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think, just really quick, my favorite comment was Dana Sue suggesting, why don't you just do it the old-fashioned way? I'm like, well, that's a little quick, don't you think, Dana Sue?
They just started a relationship. I mean, like, it's one thing to be intimate, but to be intimate and the efforts to bring a child into the world is a little fast. So when you've just started dating.
They had a slow burn all through season 1. Let's hold off a little on the, natural baby making process.
Yeah. It is going to be I don't know. It's still a strange that you are starting a new relationship, and regardless of whether you have it with him as the father or you do it on your own, going forward, you've just started a brand new relationship and you're trying to bring a baby into it. It's all just very strange for me, but this is what she wants, and I'm happy that she's pursuing it regardless of what else is going on, and I'm proud of her for that.
And I'm glad that Eric is really stepping up and being like, yeah, that's cool with me.
Yeah. And she's giving him outs.
Yeah, not a lot of other guys would have taken the out.
Mm-hmm. And I like how Helen put it. She said that we just went from friend zone to not so friend zone, and we're still figuring it out.
Mm-hmm. But he went to the doctor with her, which I thought was like a really nice step. I mean, Eric's a great guy. A lot of guys would be like, whoa, it's going a little too fast for me. I don't know if we're going to go visit your fertility doctor, but I mean, he's the kind of guy that goes, and I love that.
And I like that he let her be upset outside of there.
Mm-hmm.
But she said, I'm okay. And boy, did I relate to that. He's like, that's just something people say. They're trying to put it, because what are you going to say? That's like with me with cancer, people are like, how are you doing? I'm okay. Do you want me to say, I'm feeling really, really nauseous today. My head hurts a lot. I'm having really bad hot flashes. I really feel really sick and I don't really want to be here today. How are you? Like,
well, most of the time when people say, how are you? They don't actually want to know how you are. There's very few people that actually, like, your close friends and family, but otherwise nobody. I mean, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm okay is what I say in response to, the 6th grade teacher I really don't even know. Who says good morning to me in the teacher's lounge. Like,
But he pushes her because Helen is so used to not letting anyone else in because she's always going for other people. And I love that they had that connection already, that Eric's like, no, we're going to be upset here. Let's be upset.
Yeah.
And she lets him be upset too when he talks about his past.
Yes. Did you all see that coming? I kind of did. I kind of suspected that. I didn't know. It was sad though to hear that, like, I knew he had probably lost his wife. I don't know, had we discussed that last season or was that just me? Okay.
I think all of us were kind of thinking the bait because it was after he helped Noreen one time. He ran in the hallway and like had a panic attack.
Yeah.
So and then Isaac found out last season he was an EMT.
Yeah.
So I think that we kind of, all of us had kind of, I think it was actually you who brought up the baby thing.
Oh, it probably was.
Really smart of you, Jack. Way to go.
I've been pretty right on most of my predictions for this season.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. There's only one that I missed, but we're not there yet. So.
I mean, it was sad how he told the story, and it sounds like she died on the roadside as he tried. It just, I can't even imagine what weight he's been carrying this whole time.
And especially being an EMT, because this is your job to like save people and to do these things. And the fact that you couldn't save like the people you loved more than anything, like that's got to be tough.
That's a lot to live with.
Yeah.
A lot to carry.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that he told Helen, that it's not that I'm still mourning this. It's that you've opened up something to me I thought was all gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which the baby, it makes more sense that he did go to the doctor with her in that context, but then still it makes it like,
I just hope this isn't too fast for him, like considering like what he's lost. Like I don't want.
Yeah. Well, it's been years, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. it sounds like he hasn't fully dealt with it, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, this is gonna be a long, hard journey for her potentially. So I just hope it doesn't, hurt him in the process too.
Well, he does have an outlet, like he said, the cooking, he brought him out of it and it gave him a way out. So it's good that he has an outlet too that's separate from Helen that he can work things out with. But he's good about saying no, because he pumped the brakes on when Helen was trying to put the moves on him.
Yeah.
He's like, no, let's wait.
Yeah.
And what did she say? Like it made her want him even more after he pumped the brakes. I was like, wow, this man is real impressive.
I mean, he is. I like Eric.
And they both say in that we've fallen for each other. But I do like that we get one date. I like it. It feels weird that the doctor's clinic was a date, technically. So I mean that's an odd date. But then we get a real date at the jazz club, and they I like that they're the only ones dancing. The only ones in the whole club that are up there dancing. And that was a steamy kiss that they shared.
It was.
Oh yeah.
They had a couple of these 2 episodes.
Yeah. I mean they got some spark for sure. Like, I like them a lot.
Yeah, I'm loving them.
And Helen and Eric, they aren't the only new couple that we're seeing in Serenity either.
No, we got my favorite couple, which I'm still in shock that this is my favorite couple. But I adore Annie and Jackson. I adore them.
I just rewatched episodes, whatever we're talking about, 7 and 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just rewatched 7 and 8, and I was like, oh man, I love this couple. They're just so gosh darn cute.
Yes.
Well, like they, we see them like they go to the coffee shop the day after they've kissed or whatever. And
well, she goes there to find him. That wasn't a planned meeting. She's looking for him.
Right. Their interaction is just their banter is so flirty and so cute. And I love it. And I can't remember what the exact words. I'm sure Maureen, you remember because you took notes on this.
I do.
Whatever he says when they're doing their little back and forth about like whatever they were doing, and she says something about he says something about not leaving, and she's like,
no, he said, and maybe it's because the split that we take of the diamonds when I leave, and she said, well, why would you leave? Aren't we gonna stay together? And then he stopped and he went, how about vain guy, so vain he hurts a really special girl, and this girl is gracious enough to forgive him.
I mean, this guy.
And then she said, is that why you kissed me? And he said, no, I kissed you because you're important to me. And I hope you kissed me back because you could see we were going to be incredible together. Like,
oh my God.
I would swoon. This boy is 17 and I was swooning.
I was too.
Are we sure he's 17? Because I was like, who is this talking right now? It's certainly not a 17-year-old.
Thankfully, the actor is not 17 because I was definitely swooning as well. And I was like, okay, this is inappropriate if he is, but I checked. He's not. I checked. Well, you got to, sometimes you don't know. You got to check these things out, because I can't have a crush on a child, obviously. So that was completely. Now, if he's like 20, we're good with that.
Yeah, we're weird. We're not creepy.
Yeah, no, exactly. But and then I'm trying to think of all the different scenes because I wasn't good in rewatch today. But I like too when he goes to the restaurant and like they're kind of having like a little moment. She's sort of venting about. You're shaking your head. Was I saying something?
I thought you were gonna say a different scene and I was mad about it. So keep going.
No. But they're like in that back room.
Yep.
And they almost get caught by Dana Sue, which I was like, oh God, she's gonna freak out. Thankfully
she did.
She didn't too much though. But she was like, I don't know. I was afraid she was gonna go full Dana Sue on them and was gonna really stress me out.
The only benefit there was they were in the restaurant. Dana Sue won't do that when it's full of people.
That's true. But it was a nice little moment. They just have like, man, these actors.
Yeah, chemistry.
How did we not see this last season? Like,
because we were focused on hating him because he was a punk last season.
We were focused on her and Ty, and so I never noticed. But I mean, I'm going to say they have the best chemistry on the show by far.
I can see that.
They're very sweet.
It's just effortless. Like I actually believe they're a couple. Like it feels real.
Annie's character feels more natural this season, I'll say.
I agree. And I honestly think it has to do with her scenes with him. I think they just really work well together and it shows. I mean,
yeah,
she was always awkward with Ty.
Yeah.
Never felt right. I mean, I still kind of wanted them
And
together.
she was never
but
really fully herself around him.
Yeah, I
Like
loved
she
it.
always felt she needed to be better than she was in order
Mhm.
to be in his general
Yeah.
vicinity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't like though how cold Dana Sue was to him, because even it was one look from her and he just turned around and walked out.
Yeah.
She,
Which, okay, normally Dana Sue is way too overprotective. In her defense, just knowing who Jackson's family is, I would also be cautious if my daughter was spending time with this person.
cautious,
at
yes,
first,
but not
anyways.
cold.
No, I wouldn't be cold, but I would definitely be a little worried about the relationship.
Yeah.
But when he comes back to ask her out, ask her permission to take Annie on a date, I mean, he's so good at what he says that she can't deny him. I
No.
mean, he's like completely sincere and it's evident. And
she
that
was like rude to him at
beautiful.
first.
Mhm.
When he first came in, she didn't even move from the register. She just kept doing what she was doing.
Yep.
But I
hope
like
she
how,
feels bad.
yeah, she should.
Mhm.
I like how he handled it though, because he said, I know you're not my biggest fan. And
Mhm.
she starts to defend herself and he cuts her off and he gets to the root of it and says, and I know you're not my mother's biggest fan. Because that's really the whole reason she's
That's
so
the
mean
issue.
to him. Because she is mean to him. She's mean.
Yeah.
And even when after he says everything he says, which is right, which is good, he did the right thing. He was being a gentleman. He was being kind. He was being thoughtful.
Mhm.
And he was genuinely seeking a mother's permission. He wasn't trying to pull anything over on anybody. He was polite. So I think even when she gave him permission, it was clear she didn't want to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how maybe my kids start dating because I have girls, but still, maybe it's because I like Jackson so much that I was so bothered by how cold she was, because I really like Jackson though.
I think that's what it is, because I think if we're seeing all these great scenes with him, you have to remember that Dana Sue
That's true.
is
She's
not
seeing them.
seeing these scenes. So it would be like last season Jackson asking our daughter out on a date, and we would be like, negative.
Yeah.
Like, we can go somewhere else.
And I honestly think that's what Ty's problem is with him too.
Yes.
Ty's not seeing all those sweet things, but he knows what he was last year. Or
Yeah.
Not even last year. It was last season.
Yeah.
Football season, whatever. Baseball.
Not
Whatever
football.
season it is.
Whatever sport they're playing, yeah.
I did like when Annie, she was like, I'm gonna go. Remember, I'm gonna go hang out with friends. And Dana Sue says too, and she says all these names, and she throws Jackson's name in there towards the end, but she says it so fast, and then immediately tacks on another name.
Yep.
And Dana Sue was kind of confused for a minute. So yeah, exactly. I mean,
yeah,
very clever. It's like Joe, Susie, Jackson, Jonah.
What?
She just,
oh yeah.
No, I just came up with a bunch of like random names. So, like she just threw him in there like it was little Jackson sandwich. Just tossed his name in there. And I was like, wait, did Dana Sue even hear that she mentioned Jackson's name? Because she said okay a little too quickly.
She thought about it for a second. It was like she was running through the names in her head, and she was like, okay. And midnight is a curfew. I suppose she's 17, and it's summer, but
I think midnight's acceptable if it's not a school night.
it's summer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, I think it's okay. I'd be okay with it. I think. I don't know. I say these things, but I may not be later. We'll see.
We'll see what happens in a few years.
Like 6 years.
Oh,
6 to 7, please.
I got 4 years.
It's gonna go so fast. I'm not ready.
You guys.
Way to bring the mood down, Eve.
Well, you just need to start shopping around for a bunch of, Jacksons, and then that's your daughter's date.
I don't know if I actually want a Jackson. Like, I don't know who I want.
I want current season
want
Jackson,
a Jackson,
but I don't want Jackson progression Jackson.
That's my problem. My taste in men. I just hope my daughter didn't get my taste in men, because.
Oh, that would be really bad.
She's gonna come home with Rafe.
Oh, I've had a few of those, so I mean, it's possible.
Well, the last thing we see of Jackson and Annie, and I think it's really sweet when they met at that park.
That's my favorite scene. That's my favorite scene of them so far. Just how cute and flirty, and like they're kind of spinning around and they're like grabbing quick smooches, and it's a really wholesome, sweet scene, and I loved it.
And he says something in there. He says, but what do I know? My parents don't care anything about what I say. And there you see why he was the way he was.
Yep.
And why those kids are the way they are.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
he said it with a sincerity, but he was also trying to make it light. He was trying to not make her sad, but still giving a glimpse of who he was. And I think that's why I like it so much. He was giving a part of himself to her.
Yeah.
Showing her a little glimpse of who he is and where he comes from.
Yeah. Oh,
And it makes you hate Mary Vaughn a little bit more.
yes.
Ooh,
A lot more,
I didn't
actually.
know that was possible. To hate her
Right?
more. This season proved me otherwise.
Yeah.
But I
But, you
will
know-
say that when they were walking away and he was like saying something, he's like, only 30 more. So all I could hear is Nellie saying, or Simone going, anybody want a cookie? Like, that's all I could hear. Because the way he says it is the way that when we interviewed Simone, who plays Nellie, and she was saying that that's what he was saying in that prom scene, and he kept altering it. And the last one was, anybody want a cookie? Anybody cookie? And he had that up down, and so when he had the same tone in his voice that she used, and so I couldn't stop laughing when he was chasing
Yeah.
her because it's
Oh,
all
I
I
I
could
didn't
hear.
notice that, but now I need to rewatch it and see that.
Yeah, I couldn't see it when you guys did the interview with her. I was like, nope, sorry, not buying it. Because that was
Me
before
neither.
season 2 dropped, right? When
Mhm.
you guys did the interview with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then when I saw the season, I was like, oh, now I understand what someone was talking about. I see it.
I think we were all like, Jackson.
He sucks.
Are you sure? Because we don't like him.
Oh. But little did we know it was going to be such a turnaround. But yeah. But no, we've talked about, like, I mean, I don't know, God, Dana Sue giving Annie such a hard time over this, but you know, Dana Sue's Dana Sue, and it's not the only person she's been given a hard time to. Poor Ronnie's
Ronnie.
kitchen. I know.
And
He's
she
catching all kinds of trouble from her, like,
tries to say in the beginning, I'm maintaining my boundaries with him while I'm managing Annie's expectations. That's a load of crap.
you're not maintaining any boundaries. Like, just
None.
own it. It's fine. He's
See,
your
I was
husband
really-
still.
I was confused. I had to go back and listen to her say that again. I was like, well, that is the most inaccurate thing I've heard in this episode so far.
I like Helen went, did you rehearse it before coming over? And she went, yes.
Mhm. I love how they know her so well, you know, like,
But I mean,
I'm not faulting her. I mean, like, if Ronnie was my husband trying to win me back, I'd fall for it too. Like, it's fine. Like, I get
But
it, but like, own it.
she's not being honest with him though, is
Yeah.
the problem.
That's what bugs me.
She's
Yeah.
leading him on to believe things are what she doesn't want them to be yet. And that's not fair.
Mm-mm.
He's been open about what he wants to happen here. He's been very transparent of, this is what I want. This is why I want it. I'm doing this to make it work. And she's holding everything so tight to her back. She's not telling him anything.
Yeah.
And I think I like that we see him. The first thing we see of him is she walks in the house and he's there and he's just on the floor, table upside down, fixing the table. Like, that's what
What's
his house, it's his wife, it's his kid. That's the page that he's on.
Yeah.
And that's when he tells her about the kiss. And I think Dana Sue overreacts.
She
He's like-
always overreacts.
Like this, and she freaks. She's like, this is not what co-parenting is. He told you about the kiss.
Yeah. Now, I think he definitely should have told her the night it happened. I'm in agreement there, but it's not worth an argument. It's not like worth some big argument here. Like, I'm in agreement he probably should have, because I would have wanted, you know, my husband to tell me, but still.
Well,
no.
she does
Waiting to see what it was though.
Yeah.
She does have a history of overreacting. I mean, we saw that in the first episode.
If you were Dana Sue, would your husband want to share that with you?
Oh no, I'm sure he wouldn't.
Because I think he's trying to protect Annie, and not protect from Dana Sue, like, oh, she needs protection from her brother.
No, I know what you
But-
mean. Yeah.
I think that he was waiting to see if something was going to come of that. And I think he thought it was genuinely was like, oh, that's just an innocent thing.
Yeah.
So I think that he did tell her. He just told her when it was okay to tell her and when he was thinking about it. Because I
Yeah.
think for him and Dana Sue, you think about what the relationship is and what it was and how it got to be where it is. A kiss is not really anything. They always talk about how wild Dana Sue was.
Yeah.
So kiss isn't really like a
Yeah.
crazy bad thing, especially if it was innocent outside of a church after
I
VBS.
would want to know though. I would want to know. I gotta, my husband saw my daughter getting a like kiss from somebody. And he didn't tell me.
I mean, I would want to know too, but
I'd
I
be
don't think I
like-
would freak out about this is
I
not
don't
how
think
you
I would freak out.
co-parent.
Yeah, no. But this is still, I think she's looking for reasons to like nitpick
Exactly.
them, and that's the issue.
And I mean, you talk about confusing things when Annie walks in on them. Ooh, that is my nightmare. Like as a kid, like that was my nightmare. It still is my nightmare if I'm being
I was
honest. If
gonna
that
say, as a
ever happens
parent,
to me,
I feel like it's even more of a nightmare, y'all. Like you would not want that to happen. Like
no.
It was just as awkward to watch the second time as it was the first time I saw that scene.
Yeah,
I was
like I felt that
nope.
deep.
Yeah, I was like, nope, still awkward. Doesn't get better.
I mean, I guess you thought she wasn't coming home, but y'all take this to the bedroom.
She
You got a
did.
whole,
She gave her a curfew. She came home at midnight.
well, you take it in the other room. No.
Yes.
Like, I know it's your house and all, but you know, you gotta
Unless there is like your
living in
kids
your
are
house.
somewhere and there is no chance they can come home, you're gonna have to take it to the bedroom just in case. Like,
Yes.
and lock the door so you can hear them coming in. Like, we gotta do something, you know?
And she
I don't
And
know.
talks
they
about how
act
she's
all
trying
shocked.
to, right?
They act all shocked that she walked in the door. I'm like, well, she lives there and she had a curfew.
And you told her to come home. So,
Dang, Annie, why do you have to be so responsible? Come on.
but the
Guess
other
they
thing
got
too
caught
is
up in the
that
moment.
she talks about how she can't let Annie think that anything's going on there. Well,
Really?
why aren't you taking more precautions on that then? Because clearly she's gonna see that and think, okay, my parents are obviously back together because it.
I hope that's what she thinks, that especially at her age, like
exactly.
surely you wouldn't be thinking that they're just screwing around. I mean, like that's no,
She's
it's
16.
confusing. Yeah.
And that's when we see the talk the next day when she's like, why didn't you guys tell me you're back together? And Dana Sue went, we're not. And Ronnie's like, because we didn't want, I think,
His poor little face.
because he thought that's what it was too, because
Yeah.
that's what you do with the person you're married to, the person that you love. That's when it happens for him.
Well, I wish we could go back in time to last season and tell you that you were going to be defending both Bill and Ronnie
Here's
on
the
the
thing
podcast,
though.
because you would be like, what?
I still stand by every comment I made in that first season because every character on this show, second
know.
season, is so altered.
Yeah, it's true.
Like they
It's true.
literally wrote them different.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why they could we have had a progression from where they were to where they are rather than okay, they're this way, okay, no, they're this way.
I guess we only got 10 episodes, so we don't have a whole lot of time.
I mean,
right?
my goodness.
Yeah.
But then when he approaches her at Sullivan's, completely justified.
Mm-hmm.
She yells at him about coming into her place of business, storming into her place of business, she says, and holding her feet to the door. There's nobody in there. You're not open yet. It's not like he's doing this in front of a full restaurant.
Yeah.
And when else would you give him the time of day? Because clearly you haven't done that.
Mm-hmm.
The only time she's honest with him is when she says chemistry has never been our problem.
Yeah.
It's the only honest thing she said to him this whole time.
Yeah.
But I do like that the girls hold her accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a really sweet scene when they were like, when Maddie said, if this happens to me, it's something I'm afraid of. What are you afraid of? And I like that Dana Sue actually took that to heart, thought about it, and was finally open and honest with him. Because she kept saying to him, I need proof. And he has it right. Why does everyone have to change but you?
Yes.
I
was proud of that. Because Dana Sue, that's what she's always bugged me, that like she always felt like everybody else needed to be better.
Yeah.
But she was never willing to admit what she needed to work on. And maybe in her mind, she knew she had these things to work on, and she just wasn't willing to vocalize those things. And I get that, but I'm glad we kind of took notice that, okay, Dana Sue, you are not perfect either. And you're going to have to take ownership of that and try to fix it.
Yeah. And it came from someone important enough to her that it hit her.
Yeah.
And Maddie and Helen completely agreed with him.
Yeah. And I think it's good, like the counseling, because very few times, and I'm not saying never, because obviously, but very few times a marriage falls apart because of one person's faults.
Yeah.
I mean, it's usually a team effort, and it's usually something, people not communicating with what they need and what changes need to be. And so I'm really glad that they're going to do this and work on it.
Yeah. I mean, I wager to say with Bill and Maddie, that was mostly Bill, because Maddie thought that they were on the same page.
I mean, and I'm not saying no, but I mean, we also didn't see before they split up. So we don't know that for sure. We don't know what things were like, and I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying that in most cases, a marriage doesn't fall apart because one person just decides like, oh, I'm just going to go sleep with this other person. There's usually things leading up to that. I mean, it's just, it's not really anybody's fault. I'm not saying, but counseling is a good idea. Is what I'm saying.
It is. And I think that it'll be good for both, because both of them, like Dana Sue said, chemistry is not their problem. Communication is clearly their problem.
I would even say, like, once they get some things worked out, it wouldn't hurt to have a whole family counseling session to let Annie come in and help deal with some of the things that she's dealt with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she needs it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Honestly, almost everybody in the world needs counseling for some reason. I'll just go on record saying that. Everyone can do it.
I do it. My
One
daughter
way or
asked
the
me to
other.
do it, and my mom thinks that counseling is not all that great. I think she's still weirded out that I go.
Yeah.
But my daughter's like, Mom, I want to go to counseling. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Like there's too much of a stupid stigma around counseling. It's beneficial, even if you don't have problems. It's beneficial to go to a counselor even like once a month, just to talk to someone to help you articulate and deal with things.
Someone that you
The
can
world
say
is dark and
anything
heavy.
to. Sometimes it's hard to say things to people you're closest to because you don't want to hurt them feelings or have them worried, or it's just nice to have a neutral person to say those things to.
Yeah. I mean,
Here's one
honestly,
skill.
I didn't
Thanks
think I
for
would
our
be
TED talk, right?
I didn't think I would be defending Ronnie at all this season, because he was
I knew I would.
he was a gaslighter last season. He was very aggressive and pushy with her last season, in a not good way. But it wasn't. She
Agree to disagree there.
That's just because you like that.
No, I know I don't like a gaslighter. I do like a little aggression sometimes, though.
See?
A little aggression's not bad.
But Ronnie, he wants to
Like
get
a
to the root
psychopath.
of the matter of their issues in their marriage, and he wants to fix it. And I think it almost surprised me that Ty would have the same instinct as Ronnie, because I view them as Ronnie was like kind of the bad guy coming to this, and then Ty is there and it's like, oh, okay, good Ty. But they have the same right instinct.
So we finally see Ty reaching out to Cece. Now that what'd she say, when your head's on straight or something?
Your head's on right. Yeah.
Yeah, when your head's on right.
Let me know when your head's on right.
Well, his head's getting a little more right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if maybe I'm just out of tune with something, but Ty is so mad that Cece, ghosted him. But wasn't he kind of ignoring her before she said, I need you to get your head right?
Yeah, he missed 4 messages from her. That's what confused me.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you kind of ghosted her first, and you were sitting right there with her and you were ghosting her. So
well, I don't think he was ghosting her when he was sitting. That was something we disagreed on last time. I think that they were both in their own world. I think they were both kind of, she was talking to him, but she was in her own little world.
Still, that one bugged me though. I know we talked about it last week too. I mean, I don't know. If I'm talking to someone, even if you don't like what I'm saying, I'm going to need you to, like, especially for my significant other, I'm going to at least need you to pretend like you're paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you got to, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's why I do the.
Yes, that's exactly what you do if you have to. Like, but you need to make somebody feel like they're being heard, and it bugs me. And I'm not convinced.
Well, neither.
Hold on, you're muted.
I just saw that. His comment back to that too, with her saying, call me when your head's right. His response to that was, got back from doctor, cast off, celebrate, question mark. How is that? How are you going to segue into that?
How does one respond to that text message?
I mean, I could think of a way to respond, but it's not a nice way to respond. I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, you can't just kind of blow me off and then, like, not even own up to that, and not even, like, even if you don't feel like you were wrong, you could come to me and say, look, I'm sorry that you felt like I wasn't hearing you and I wasn't paying attention to you.
Exactly.
Like, obviously she was hurt by what happened there, and you needed to do more than, like, okay, I'm cool now, you want to have a party, like, you want to celebrate with me?
Mm-hmm.
No, actually I don't. Like, I'm good. I was proud of Cece, and I'm not a big Cece fan, but I was proud of her, the way she stood her ground against him.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, she's not what he's looking for. So it was right of her to acknowledge
Right.
that and take herself out.
I've never thought they were a good match.
No,
I think they
it
have
was always
zero
weird.
chemistry, and it just never worked for me.
Mm-hmm. And she says something along the lines of, if you want someone to talk soul searching and deep talk, I'm not the girl for you. Like, obviously you're not. So she recognized she wasn't going to sacrifice who she was to fit what he wanted either.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't fault her for walking
No.
away from that at all.
Did we want to talk a little bit about Ty and Kyle?
Yeah, I thought that was it was really nice to see that.
I am loving their brotherly relationship even more. I know it didn't happen in these episodes we're talking about, but I think one of my favorite moments was when they were at yoga together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I really saw things turn around. And then we see them in these couple episodes having that really open, honest conversation. It's like, I'm sorry, are you teenagers? Are you sure?
Yeah.
This is not the kind of advice that teenagers dole out to each other. But it was just kind of interesting how, gosh, I keep getting the boys confused, how Kyle was saying, you know, with dad not really paying much attention, I was able to just try my own thing all the time, and now you can do the same. And I think Ty was really like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he even told Ty, because he said that the rest of the team, he didn't know if they were talking to him because he's contagious or because he didn't want to talk about baseballs or girls. And Kyle said, well, there's more to you than that for anyone who's smart enough to watch or to look. Like, that was really mature thing of Kyle to say, or a really kind thing of Kyle to say. And it was the look on his face when Ty said, I'm a little jealous of you, there wasn't any animosity in it. It's not like he was a mean jealous. It's just like, it was a saying, I admire you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad to see them back to being brotherly, because the beginning of the season was a little rough.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
with them.
real rocky there at the beginning. I was a little nervous.
Yeah.
And I think when Kyle told him, there were two moments that Kyle had, or that Ty had, that were like light bulbs. And one was when Kyle said, it's not too late. You can still start something new. And you could see the wheels turning in his head. He's like, oh yeah, okay. And the other was when they were, for the 5 millionth time, packing up presents for Noreen in the kitchen. And his mom said, she's your neighbor in physical sense, but also in the Christian sense. I'm asking you to be charitable. He's kind of like, yeah, whatever. But then grandma says, that baby shouldn't be, how did she word it? She said, shouldn't be held accountable for the sins of her father, just like you shouldn't be. And that was another light bulb moment for Ty. And that's when he said, well, maybe I should go get a nice shirt on. And so those two things together, I think, are really going to be imperative coming forward into the next season, even the next two episodes, seeing how Ty changes and how the decisions that he makes.
Yeah, Ty was really, I don't know, he really impressed me this episode. I don't know if that's the word, but he was taking advice from everybody.
Yeah.
Because he was even hearing Cal out about how, you know, maybe it's time to focus on other things. Is that what Cal was saying? I'm trying to look at the notes.
Yeah, the way it went was he was on the porch and he was talking about all the things, being patient, not wanting to be patient, and all CC Ghost and all the stuff. And Cal told him that he can't define himself with one thing. And Ty said, but it's been the only thing for so long. And Cal said, well, maybe it's time for a change.
Yeah.
So I think it's been a real big turning point for Ty.
Yeah.
This episode.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I do think a lot of it has to do with Cal.
Yeah.
I think both of those boys I think it has a lot to do with the way that Cal has been speaking to them and stepping up for them in a way that their own father never has.
Yeah, I mean, Cal's
because Bill's really disappeared after he gave them the keys to the apartment. I think that was the last connection he had with the kids. Am I right? I mean,
we've
at least
seen so far, yeah.
That we've seen so far. So, I mean, he's kind of been in his own world, and Cal's really been there stepping up and helping them. And they're really, the boys are both really open to him too.
Yeah.
Well, we've even seen, like, I mean, Cal's almost had to take a little bit of that same advice in that, you know, I mean, he's not knowing what's going to happen here with like the coaching career, and here he's fully stepping up to help out at Sullivan's. He's kind of getting on Dana Seuss' nerves in the way that he's trying to help out, but I like seeing him fully embrace that and like, I'm here, I'm an investor, I'm going to do this. And what Dana Seuss decided he was going to be the face of, which I think that's nice.
I do like at one point how he said, I'm going to help by leaving.
Yes. But because I do think that's funny. It's like, okay, she's been running this restaurant for a really long time, and then you kind of want to come in there and try to start telling her how to do it. Like, you should have known Dana Sue well enough to know that was not going to go over well.
Yeah.
It's like, do you know who you went into business with? Because you don't seem to realize that it's Dana Sue.
Yeah. But no, I think it's, but that's him being like the face of everything, I think is definitely helpful, the celebrity and all. I will say in these episodes, I'm not the hugest Cal fan. I'm not into it all. I've said this before, but the beach vacation in his bedroom for Maddie was pretty adorable. I'm just going to say, I'm usually not into this lovey-dovey romantic nonsense, but I would like that. Like, that was sweet. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was cool.
I like that she kept thinking he was going to have someone jump out and scare her though.
Yeah. Yeah, and he said, well, where did I go wrong? I'm like, well, you put a blindfold on her. That's kind of
yeah, I don't like,
It was sweet though. And I like when he's like, I'm trying to be romantic. She's like, that shirt's not romantic. And he said, do you want me to take it off? And she's like, that would be romantic.
Those were my thoughts exactly. Like, I think I did have that thought before she said it. I was like, that'd be romantic. Because that's about the only part now.
You would.
Cal, that's what I keep saying. Like, the only thing I like about Cal are his arms. But anyways, no. And then the Charleston, that was fun. Their little, like, they got all gussied up to go to a little fundraiser in Charleston. So that was a fun experience.
I really liked her dress.
I did too. God, she looks so beautiful. Yeah. But we met some different people from his past, which, we're starting to see a little bit more into what his life was before Serenity. So that's kind of fun. Mm-hmm. What was Jody was her name. I was trying to look it up. She was super sweet. I liked her a lot.
I feel like her only purpose in that scene was to further along the Victoria stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I would have liked to see more from Jody, I think, outside of that, because the moment that she said the stuff about Victoria, she just kind of cut the scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we do hear that Victoria, the fundraisers were her thing because she liked the pretentiousness of it all. And then Jody told her that, what did she say? That she brought drama wherever she went. She craved it. And then she took credit for everything Cal did and put nothing into him or the relationship.
Does anyone else think we're going to see Victoria next season? We've talked about her a lot. And I want to. I don't know. She just sounds like she's going to cause some drama and I'm here for it.
I kind of need her to be on next season.
It'd be fun to see her. I don't know.
The other thing that Jody tells us, which I really want to try after my chemo, because chemo has changed my taste buds, and I'm a coffee freak, but I haven't had any coffee since having chemo because it makes me sick. But iced coffee over Cheerios, kind of want to try it. Is that weird?
I mean, it is for me, considering I don't like coffee.
That's true. But Cal even says, like, that it made me laugh a lot when he said it. He's like, what do you mean used to? It's tasty and efficient. I
mean, I can see where, I don't know.
I mean, it's just Cheerios. It's not like it's like, ooh, it'd be really good with the Reese's Puff cereal, I bet.
Oh, well, now I'm intrigued.
That would be good. But it's not like it's strawberry something or some weird flavored cereal that he's eating. It's just plain old Cheerios.
See, I only really like Honey Nut Cheerios, so I don't like the plain ones.
Oh, I don't like the Honey Nut ones. I don't like the plain ones either.
Or I like multigrain. Those are actually my favorite.
The multigrain are my favorite, yeah, because they're sweet.
Anyway, I like the dark colored ones are the best.
Well, I have Cheerios. Maybe I'll do a Dunkin' run tomorrow and then just
let us know how it is.
Let us know.
Live stream yourself eating iced coffee over Cheerios.
I will live stream myself so that you can see exactly what my face looks like.
Yeah, we need like a live reaction here to what's happening.
We'll do it live in our group chat. It'll be fantastic.
I would appreciate that
for everybody.
The other person that we meet there is Stu.
Yes. And I thought he was a little weird.
Yeah.
As soon as I met him.
Little pushy.
Like, little pushy. Yeah.
A little obsessed.
Didn't really care for him.
Like I get the last game you saw before your dad died was that game.
Yeah.
But to be that obsessed over a singular player,
Yeah.
Little creepy.
yeah, I think there's gonna be something deeper going on there.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's even more obsessed than I am with Dylan O'Brien. I mean, like, this is weird. Like, to be that obsessed over someone, like, I don't know. You could tell there was, I don't know, there's such a story there though. Like, and I just want to
Yeah.
know it. Like, I think anyways.
I think the
There's
initial
not a
vehicle there
story.
was to bring Cal to that point.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wish that's what bugs me though. Like, if there's not more to this, and I feel like this is just a wasted. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this whole storyline. I mean, I liked getting to know Cal's past, but I don't like the way it's being told.
Yeah,
So I don't
I
know.
agree.
Maybe there's more to it and we'll just see more next season. But
Yeah.
it's definitely been very disjointed seeing all the little pieces. I'm like, I don't want little pieces here and there. I want like some kind of progression.
Yeah,
going
because
on.
last season Cal was open and he was transparent about stuff, but this season it's like everything he says, he's hiding something else. Even when Maddie has to ask him, did your dad ever watch you play professionally? He didn't verbally answer. He just slow nodded his head or shook his head no. And that was it. And then he switched the subject. Like, there's something like, what happened with your dad then? Like, it's just all these pieces that it feels like they're hiding from us.
Mhm.
And it feels like they're trying to tell us they're hiding it from us.
And in my opinion, they're hiding it so much that I just don't even like. It's
We don't
weird. It's
trust
like
Cal.
yeah. And I'm like, it's not even interesting for me because I feel like we're like, I don't know. I can't explain it. Like, I'm not into the storyline very much at all. It's not like I'm on the edge of my seat, like, oh, what else is there? Because I
Yeah.
feel like it's just kind of, I don't know.
It's falling flat.
Yeah. It just seems so odd and out of place.
Yeah.
But we talked about like Cal and his relationship with the kids this season. And I think, we finally start seeing like more of Kyle and Kyle is getting back to his normal self. And I think Cal had a big part in that because I mean, just with his help of getting him back to what we saw last season. And that's what I've been looking forward to with Kyle. He's getting involved with, is this the episodes where we meet the new little friend named
Sophie and Willow.
Yes.
When I was writing the notes, I kept saying girl, and then when I would put in parentheses, what is her name? Someone would say her name. Like, oh, okay, there it is.
There we go. We're listening to you, right? No, but I really liked all that, and I mean, I wasn't sure what I thought about Sophie when we first met her. I thought, okay,
She's a
where's
little
this
abrasive.
going?
Odd duck.
Yeah. But so was Kyle. And so I mean it works and it's nice to see him have some friends because even last season he had no friends that we ever saw.
Just Annie.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is really nice that he's finding people that he can, and Maddie agrees because didn't she come home and see him like doing their like
He's in the spa.
Or he's in the spa where they were kind of practicing and you could see just like the proudness, probably the same proudness that we are all feeling, like getting to see him back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we all have an extra soft spot for Logan Allen. So
very much so.
None of us wanted to see his character be unliked because we like Logan Allen so much.
Exactly. And this was probably a little bit of my issue with Sophie. I'm sure she's lovely, but I'm like, where's Nellie? Where's Nellie? Because I also have a soft spot for Simone. And I'm like, look, I've been waiting for this for a very long time. I cannot have some new girl swoop in and take her place.
And they built it up last season. And then the beginning of the season, they brought it in and then she just disappeared.
And I really thought, I'm like, is he going to like get a new girlfriend and we're just going to drop Nellie? I'm like, because then I'm going to be pissed. I was like, I am way too invested in these 15-year-olds' love life that I'm in it. And I need them to be together. But Nellie finally showed up and I thought that was cute. Sophie wasn't extremely nice to her at first, though. I mean, she was kind of.
I think Sophie was trying to figure her out. Because at first, my first watch, I thought Sophie was jealous of Nellie and Kyle. But I don't think Sophie has any romantic feelings for Kyle.
Okay.
And I don't think he does with her either. But the second watch through, I think that she's trying to figure her out. Because if you watch Sophie when Nellie appears, she's looking between Nellie and Kyle, Nellie and Kyle, and Nellie and Kyle, and then she stares at Nellie for a while. So she's trying to figure out what's going on between them, and she's trying to figure out what her role is, especially since Kyle is like, hey, come join us. And she stared at Nellie for a few minutes. And I think she was also feeding off of Nellie, who Nellie thought, oh, is this Kyle's new love? Is this his new interest? And Nellie seemed a little afraid that he was going to have moved on to somebody else when she likes him so much.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Sophie said the more the merrier that Nellie like opened up. It's like, okay, yay.
Yeah.
So I think that they're both just trying to figure out what role the other one had in Kyle's life is what I think they're both trying to do. And
they were so cute when they were, which I mean, all of their talk about these games, like it all makes no sense to me. It's like nerd talk that I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I think it's fun.
In the nerd speak though too, it doesn't help either that they're making up the game. So they're making up all like that scene when he's on the steps at the spa and he's like, he ends it with, I'm a sad gnome or something like that. Like, gnome? What are you? Like, I just think of like the little garden gnomes that are real tiny with the hat, like Romeo and Juliet. That's what I'm thinking.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, why are you any kind of gnome?
Exactly. That's not really the character I would choose to play in a video game.
Yeah.
But that he brings it up like, are we sure we want it to be a gnome? And they switch it. But then when Willow's there, and Willow's looks like Tinkerbell a little bit to me with pixie haircut. She's very tiny, petite.
Yes.
Looks significantly younger than the others.
Yeah.
But she's saying all these things. And then I like when Ty comes in there, he just looks down at Kyle and he just smiles. Doesn't say a word, just smiles at Kyle. And then when they walked in there, he's like, what are you looking at me like that for? And Ty even says, nice to see you with friends. I'm happy for you. I like this side of you. I like seeing you enjoying yourself. And what a good brother. Both of them are being so good to each other.
That was just so sweet of Ty. And I mean, it totally could have gone a completely different way where he was like, what, you're trying to say I don't have any friends?
Yeah.
But he was really genuine. He was really proud of his brother.
And I like that we get to see this side of Kyle where he's doing something he actually enjoys. It's a little nerdy, it's a little geeky, but he enjoys it. It makes him happy. And it is something that he was passionate about because they work on it every waking moment. And he's not the only one who's working as much as possible. Like, it just seems like every time we see Kyle, every scene, he's working on this game. Even when he's working at the spa, he's working at this game. But then we also see Trotter, who is like a machine.
Oh, Trotter.
He never leaves that.
I love that man.
Yes.
We need a lot more Trotter.
Yes. I want to be friends with a Trotter.
Me too.
Yes. Can we all have a Trotter in our lives? He just always looked like, I don't know if it's always this way or just when Maddie just walked in that episode, but he just looked so frantic. And then Maddie was just like, what's the most pressing? I'm like, are you looking at the man? Like, he doesn't, like, do you think this is a man who has a list? Like, are you serious right now?
I even like what Trotter says. He's like, I'm only a man, and so far I've only managed to be in 3 places at once.
I feel like the man needs a raise. He is like always covering for them. Like,
always. And he's always there.
Always there. I'm like, do they have any other employees? This is the only one I ever see.
Right.
Like, let's get the man some help in the spa, please.
And I get
well,
that
he did get
thing, but
he did get help. I mean, he's got Cal holding cows.
True. Oh my goodness.
I think it's weird that they added clubs in there though. It's a spa.
I was a little confused about that too. I was like, well, that's an interesting idea, but it's a spa. It's not like
women specifically.
Yeah, it's not like it's a library or something where it would make sense to have some clubs, but like at a spa, I don't think spas.
If the restaurant was more separate than it, because I mean, the benefit of having a spa for women only is that women can come as they are, be as comfortable as they want to be, without dudes being present. But now, if you got dudes like right next to all the rooms in the restaurant, there, it's a little. I mean, that's really. It's for women. You know, you're letting even Cal comments on it. Like, I feel like you've been lying to me this whole time. Now there's a bunch of men in here everywhere.
Yeah.
But, Trotter's the only acceptable guy.
Well, what kind of clubs did she say there were? She was like, there's a knitting club, and there was some other random club she mentioned where I was like, there's a club for that, but I can't remember what it was now.
I don't remember the name she said.
She definitely said a knitting club, and I was thinking, I don't know of a whole lot of men who go to knitting clubs.
Yeah.
No,
I'm sure there are a handful, but I don't know any of them.
there are some kids, some guys in my youth group who, some teens in my youth group who knit.
One of my friends, her dad, he knits. He took it up, and after he retired, he started knitting, and he's like made like all kinds of stuff, like blankets and like hats and sweaters, and he's pretty good at it actually. But yeah, so I guess they're out there. Maybe there's an all men's knitting club somewhere.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You never know.
So then we have Trotter and Cal telling Maddie that she should be the next mayor, which I had that thought for maybe like a couple seconds. Then I was like, nah, I don't think she'd make a good mayor.
And I think the reason we had that thought is because she was doing a lot of work for the recall.
I think that's where my mind was, because when I was first watching, I was like, oh yeah, she should totally be mayor. And then I rewatched these 2 episodes. I was like, I don't think I would vote for her.
The thing is, Maddie is she's a bit too emotional with her, like when she gets upset about stuff. But I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't see her mayor. I swear I see Helen as mayor. If any of these 3 were to run for mayor, I feel like Helen is the one that is most qualified for this. And I'm going to stand by
She's certainly
that.
the most qualified. Yeah.
And I think even just personality wise, she's the best fit.
Well, Dana
to do
Sue.
something like this. She's way too emotional. Yeah, there's no way.
Dana Sue.
She can't even handle the kid that wants the dino nuggies. Like, how's she going to deal with all this other stuff? There's no way. Helen for mayor.
We'll make posters. I think people, though, I think they're excited about the changes that are coming to Serenity, though.
Yeah.
Excited about changes coming to Serenity, and I don't live there.
Me too.
Well, I kind of do, because we do this podcast, but
oh, they finally got their petition, which I'm like, man, that was, I don't know, I guess it seemed quick, but maybe not, just because it, I guess everybody wants Trent out, so it probably wasn't hard to get signatures. But
well, there were several points in both of these episodes where they're like, hey, we got more signings, hey, we got more signatures, hey, we got more signatures, and they went out several times to get them.
Yeah. But I mean, Mary Vaughn's obviously not happy about it. She storms in to tell Maddie all about.
How rude to just walk in her house like that, too.
Oh my gosh.
Like, excuse you, we're not friends.
So I was, being healthy, drinking a glass of water, and I'm watching the scene. The first time I was watching this, I was watching that scene when she said, well, what did she say? My husband is the finest of gentlemen. Guys, I thought I was going to choke to death. like I spat out my water and I was dying. I was like, finest of gentlemen? Like, who are you talking about? It's not your husband.
He's a puppet.
No.
Yeah, he's the finest of puppets is what he is.
What Cece though had me cracking up, because what exactly, I know she was out there, I mean, she was like using special tactics to get these signatures.
She brought her siblings.
Yes, and I loved it. I'm like, girl, you belong in politics one day, because I feel like you know how to work the system. And I mean, she was making it happen.
It's a shame she's too young to run for mayor, because I'd vote for her too.
I could see her being Helen down the line.
Yes.
Not as compassionate as Helen, though, but efficient.
Well, maybe if she gets there, I mean, like,
I don't think she wants to be there.
Yeah, she's good at her job, though. I'm proud of her for that, I think. And she's the one that agrees that Helen would make a great mayor. So
she's the one who suggests it.
I agree with you.
I like that Helen didn't even look up from her paperwork. Stay focused, please.
Knowing in her head, she's thinking, maybe. It's in there in her head, but she would never lose her composure and act excited about something like that. Like, that's just not Helen.
And I think she's genuinely just focused on this one thing. I mean, Helen's got a lot of things happening in her life at this moment.
Yes, she does.
But I want to take it back to Mary Vaughn for a minute. When she first comes in there, she starts attacking Maddie about how ruthless they are and how rude they are and how dare they, and you are so hapless in love, you're tearing down the one good man. And then Maddie's like, Maddie said something, I don't remember what. And then Mary Vaughn did an about face. Like, well, there's just one little problem. I would be more than happy to talk to the council about this. Like,
No, we already tried that.
How many different tactics you gonna work on there, Mary Vaughn?
Yeah. No. Mary Vaughn. I swear.
And I like that the realtor of the town said she would talk to the council. She shouldn't have sway on the council.
She shouldn't. But
Well, they managed to do it. They made Mary Vaughn even more unlikable.
Mhm.
mhm.
I can't think of her with a calm head. She genuinely
She's
ticks me off.
awful. Yes, no, I agree. Yeah, so I mean, like, they finally get all their signatures and what everybody's celebrating at Sullivan's. Even Miss Francis. I love seeing Miss Francis.
I like that she signed the petition and she was out getting signatures.
Mhm. I like her.
She made 2 flowing speeches about them in these episodes too.
She did.
About how good they were, how they were carrying on her legacy, how the Winthrop name was being carried on through the Sweet Magnolias, how they raised them right, how good they are, just like over effusive praise for them.
Poor sweet Miss Francis. And then of course she just collapses at the end of these episodes, correct?
Yep. End of episode 8, she just collapses.
Yeah. Which was stressful. I love her. So.
And the look on Helen's face, it's not good because
No.
for some reason they like zeroed in on Helen and like zoomed in on her and just stayed there.
Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't look good. You know, it had me a little panicked at the end of this episode. Yeah, so I don't know. Next week, heavy episode, y'all. We got a lot to talk about. I'm excited.
And we have the benefit of knowing that, so we can tell you the next 2 episodes are heavy episodes.
I can't wait.
I know, right? I just want to talk about it all right now.
Yeah, it's been hard. It's been hard to be like, does that happen here? No,
we've been really, really good to you guys at keeping it right inside the episodes that we're talking about. Like, I don't think that's ever, I think we've always, when we've been to shows before, we've always brought it back to things that we are ahead.
We did. Yeah.
Last year, Sweet Magnolias, I think we did that quite a bit. We kept chatting about things outside the episode.
I'm sure we did. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to not stay focused here.
But we have been very successful.
We did it. Yeah.
I'm proud of us. So if you already know the last 2 episodes and you want to talk Sweet Magnolias, join us in our group. It's Sweet Magnolias Serenity Family Fan Club on Facebook. And some of the people there, our spoiler ban is up, so be advised of that spoilers are there for the last 2 episodes. But come over there and chat with us.
Starting, I'll go ahead and say this, like, we're starting something special. We're going to be starting like spotlight characters. So like each day, like first up, we'll talk about Maddie and Joanna Garcia Swisher and give you some fun facts and different discussions, and we'll do a different character each day. So it should be fun.
And we're going through all the characters.
All of them. All the way down to Trent Lewis.
Just the main 3. Yep. Even the honorable fancy gentleman himself.
Because despite these characters, all of these actors are absolutely amazing. So we're going to give them all the focus and the time that they deserve here.
We're going to spend a little more time on Jackson Lewis, though.
We might.
Or Ronnie Sullivan.
Now that one. Yeah. Enjoy that day, right?
But come on over there. And of course, you can always find us on TikTok, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter under our Family Chats name. And next week is our last Sweet Magnolias one. So next week coming at you, you're going to have Grey's Anatomy, you're going to have Sweet Magnolias, you're going to have This Is Us, The Resident, and 911 Lone Star. Lots and lots and lots of things coming at you starting Sunday. So on that note, I think we're going to see you in a week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.